morning to you. I'm Amanda Starantino.
And I'm Mark Mullins. Now at 5, he is the most successful team owner in the long history of the Indianapolis 500.
Today, Roger Penske is taking over ownership of the world's most famous race course, and today's announcement is making waves all over the racing world.
That's right. We've got team coverage for you this evening. Dave First and Brad Brown are at the corner of 16th and Georgetown, the famous Gate 1 at IMS. They've got more with the key players involved here. Hey, guys.
What a remarkable day, guys, in the history not only of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, IndyCar racing, but the entire motorsports world. This has reverberations literally around this globe because everyone knows two things. Everyone knows Roger Penske. Everyone knows about the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
The words that came out on all media all over the world, bombshell, shocking, astonishing, really kind of woke us all up this morning to this. And then here we were at 11 o'clock today with Roger Penske walking in here and essentially getting handed the keys to the Speedway.
It's one of those things where you don't even believe it until you actually saw it. And we saw it at 11 o'clock this morning.
Yeah, this has essentially been a family business for the better part of 3 generations. An emotional moment definitely this morning, and the end of an era and the start of a new one here at IMS.
We've all grown up around it. Nancy and I, anyway, we came home from the hospital to a home just right down the street here. So we've literally grown up around it.
It's a passing of the torch from one famous racing name to another. For more than 70 years, the Holman family carried on the great history of this iconic venue. But Monday's announcement is all about the future of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway.
We're very excited to be in a place where, our process took us to a point where we as a family all agreed we needed to have a conversation with Roger Penske.
Before we say anything about the last few years, we just want to recognize that it was really everything that came before us that gave us the opportunity to try to make more progress.
The acquisition will fall under the Penske Entertainment Corporation. Along with the Speedway, Penske will also take over the NTT Data IndyCar Series and IMS Productions, the company's video and digital media operation.
We're going to invest capital. We know the economic benefit today that this race brings to the region is amazing, and we want to grow that. It's important to us.
As for what happens here going forward, the ideas are already churning. No possibilities are being left off the table.
I think you've seen a tremendous change, and we want to add capability. Is there more fan zones? What can we use this for? Can we run a 24-hour race here? Can we run a Formula One race here? What are the things that we can do?
We all love it, and we all care deeply for it, and, I think we all realize that as a family and as an organization, we probably had taken it as far as we can.
Tony referring to his sister Nancy, the top there. The other sisters were here. Of course, it was a year ago yesterday. Mary Holman George passed away, the matriarch of this family. So really in 366 days, really coming full circle here for the Holman family.
After watching this newscast, or news conference, I should say, and listening to Tony talk, there's a conversation I had with Tony, this is years ago, when he flat out said, every day at this place costs money for the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and Holman and Company, and clearly it had come to a breaking point, and today was that for Tony. There have been hundreds of special moments at the Speedway. Rarely are they landmark moments like this, a handshake and a handoff. Although rumors of this sort of thing have always been as iconic as the facility itself. How often have you had offers to buy this place?
We've had offers. I remember offers back in 1977, 78.
Tony admits there have been some serious inquiries as recently as a couple of years ago, and even this past spring after the passing of the family's matriarch, Mary Holman George. But never was the right time, though, to do that.
No. Again, it's all, we're committed. As I said before, my mother was committed. Everybody's always been committed, but now we're starting to take into account the bigger picture and what's really the best thing for the institution.
The family squarely believes it belongs in the hands of Roger Penske, whose winning at the track is almost as tenured as the Holman history.
More important, it's a personal commitment by our family to be able to live with the legacy here and be the steward, of this iconic, the biggest race in the world.
Tony, meanwhile, maintains that his family has taken the Speedway, his words, as far as they could take it. And with Roger Penske, when it comes to funding and vision,
Roger will be able to get a lot of people to pick up the phone, and I just think that they'll be committed to their organizational work with the new organization and the management of that organization to make it another crown and another jewel in the crown of Penske Corp.
With the family sitting in the front row of today's news conference, a new era begins. They might look back with fondness of the Holman history. Will do so with this decision without any regrets.
The governance side is just something that we struggle with, but we've made it through, and I think we've made the right decisions. And I'm suggesting we're all at peace and feel good about it, and are here to help any way we can.
I thought that was interesting for Tony when he said when Roger's going to call someone about funding, sponsorship, or whatever, people are going to pick up the phone to listen to him because of his stature and where he is in motorsports. Who knows how much it cost Roger to buy this facility? I mean, people I've talked to who I think would know don't even know. I mean, we're talking anywhere maybe $500 million to $2 billion. I mean, who knows what it is? These are both private companies, so we can't find out officially.
Here's the perspective. The two new NFL stadiums that are being built in Los Angeles and Las Vegas are $2 billion operations just for a 65,000-seat football stadium. You know what you've got going on here, plus the IndyCar Series, plus IMSP, and everything that goes with this whole company.
But what a remarkable change in this facility's long and tenured history,
This is not something that happens often here. In fact, Penske, just the latest name to take the top shelf here at IMS. Carl Fisher and his three partners, James Allison, Arthur Newby, and Frank Wheeler, got together to build the Indianapolis Motor Speedway in 1909 as a testing facility for Indiana's rapidly growing auto industry. In 1911, they took the next step, hosting the very first Indianapolis 500-mile race. The track remained in their hands until 1927. It was then turned over on August 15th of that year to a new group headed by famed World War I pilot Captain Eddie Rickenbacker, who also started 4 500s. As during World War I, the track shut down for World War II and fell into a terrible state of disrepair. The facility was in shambles with weeds replacing cars. But Terre Haute businessman Tony Holman was not deterred. He purchased the track in 1945 for about $750,000 and whipped it into shape for a return to racing in 1946. Holman died in 1977, but the track remained in the Holman-George family until now. I think it's interesting that it will remain essentially a family business. It's the Penske family. Roger talked today about, I hope my dad's proud. And clearly his dad was the first one that brought him here some nearly 70 years ago for his very first at the track. All over social media, drivers, team owners, anybody related with auto racing, very positive vibes about Roger taking over this and the Penske name being here at IMS.
I know there's a lot of apprehension about, what the next chapter will look like, but I think here's the bottom line for all the racers and drivers and team people that I talk to. If anyone's going to buy the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, they're glad it's a guy like Roger Penske, whose heart is as big as certainly the Holman-George family had for this place. Interesting insight, by the way, from Roger Penske about what he thought when Tony initially came to him with this idea. That interview, much more with RP, coming up tonight at 6 o'clock. For now, Brad Brown, day first at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, RTV6 Sports.
Guys, what a huge and historic day. We'll be watching to see what changes may be in store. Of course, we'll have complete coverage of this on the RTV6 app as well. Thanks, guys.
And this is big news not only for the racing world, but for the town of Speedway that sits in the shadow of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. On Main Street, people at Charlie Brown's Pancake and Steakhouse were just hearing the news this morning. It's a popular eatery for fans and drivers alike, and you can bet this is the talk of the town at the restaurant today.
I think that you're going to hear a whole lot of thoughts from a whole lot of people, but I'm happy. I'm happy with who has it, and I'm happy with who's getting it. We are a racing community, and we love our racers. It's about our racers. If they're happy, we're happy.
And one of those racers weighing in today, Penske driver and former Indy 500 champ Will Power, he tweeted, quote, "What amazing news. IMS and IndyCar are in great hands. Roger's love of Indy and racing is no secret, so I can't think of anyone better to have purchased it. I think this helps secure the future of the sport and continues the positive direction that the series is headed in." And Governor Eric Holcomb issuing a statement that said in part, "The biggest single-day sporting event on planet Earth is about to get even bigger and better. I couldn't be more excited about the future of Indianapolis Motor Speedway with the captain Roger Penske at the helm. Mr. Penske's vision, team, and high expectations will ensure Indiana's most iconic asset continues to grow."